Hey everybody, welcome back. So in today's episode, I want to ask you, what do you really believe in? Absolutely no matter what anyone says. Too many people blend in with an opinion and let other people weaponize beliefs against them and end up living someone else's script. To live authentically, you need core beliefs that can't be shaken, your own unmovable foundation. But belief without structure is chaos, and that's why organizing your life matters just as much saying no to what doesn't serve you. You need to set boundaries calmly, creating systems that keep you free and still staying open to the right opportunities. In this episode, I break down my core beliefs that are non negotiable and how organizing your life is the only way to protect them. Subscribe if you're ready to stop living someone else's rules and start building your own path. Remember, create more than you consume. I'm Charlie, and this is Create Over Consume. So today, first off, I want to talk about what core beliefs mean. It's a foundation that doesn't move. It's what you are willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept in your goals for yourself in your life. This isn't to control other people. This isn't to dictate what other people think or do or act or whatever. This is what you live and survive upon. Now, with this said, my own example, some of my own core beliefs is I believe in God. I believe in authenticity. I believe in owning my choices. I believe in building legacy. Those are some of my core beliefs. How did I get to these, you ask? Well, I sat down and I wrote a lot. I learned about myself. I discovered what I like and what dislike over time. And it doesn't come overnight, is what I'm going to tell you. So you got to go ahead and be willing to take the time that you need. It doesn't matter if it's a day or 10 days or 10 years, whatever. You got to take the time that you need to find your core beliefs. Now, there's going to be many people that try to sway you out there. They try to guilt you about your beliefs. They try to shame you. They try to control you. They try to throw politics into it or other religions or whatever. And you have to be able to stick to your guns and your core beliefs over anything. And by doing this, I mean, let's use social media as an example. There's so many people expressing their opinions these days. And I'm going to say straight up that I think it's just that, opinions. The old saying goes, as my grandfather once said, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Now, with that said, social media is prime example for this because so many people post their opinion. It doesn't matter if you're just trying to humbly share what you believe in on your socials. People chime in anyways and they try to sway you with their opinions. So you got to be able to drown out that noise. I used to get really, really, really upset when people did that. But now I realize it's not worth wasting my time and my energy with this life that I've been given to get angry about that kind of thing. It's the same example of like, I believe in certain core beliefs, like people should respect themselves and respect others and things like that. Sometimes I see people in public, I'll say, that make me angry by the way they dress or the way they act, and you just have to let it go. Because coming back to your core beliefs, you have to realize that energy doesn't serve you. Now, the thing is, here's why most people crack. They never discover what they stand on. If you never discover what you stand on, you will crack and you will get swayed like a boat in an angry ocean. And with that said, you're going to be confused, you're going to be hurt, you're going to be sad, and you're not going to be able to continue because it kind of renders you useless, to be honest. So you have to discover what you stand on. You have to discover what you believe in, and you have to hold on to it with all your might. It's like you're riding a rodeo. You hold on to the reins with all your might, and you hope it doesn't buck you off, or you plan for it not to buck you off. Now here's a challenge today. If everything in your life was stripped away, what beliefs would you still hold on to? Think about that. Leave me a comment with what you think about that. Now, let's talk about organizing your life today as well, because that's a big thing for me, especially after I left New York back in 2019. I had to get back to my roots, find my core beliefs again, listen to myself, and find where that took me. So, why belief without structure equals chaos? If you have structure, you can go ahead and calmly go about your day, I guess you could say. Because, like, I talk to my wife about this all the time about routine. I think routines are a good thing because you get up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee, maybe you use the restroom, you take a shower, you get your clothes on for the day, you go to work, you come home, you have dinner with the family. That's a routine. And sometimes life tries to throw you outside of routines. Like, I used to be somebody that wasn't too into change. Like, somebody would be like, well, hey, can we go out with you and your wife for dinner or something tonight? And I'd be like, oh man, number one, that costs money. Number two, that costs time and stuff like that. And so that's a couple of my core beliefs. And I mean, if it's family, sure, I'll take the time and I'll pivot. But like, sometimes you have to learn how to say no to things that are not within your core beliefs and your structure. And when I say no, you do it calmly. Boundaries are your freedom. They're not your aggression. You don't get all angry and be like, no, you're going to take me out of watching my Netflix tonight or whatever. I mean, quite frankly, on that note, for Netflix and things like that, I stopped watching television many years ago, a couple years back actually. And with that said, I think it distracts me and it takes away my thoughts from things that actually matter. That's one of my beliefs. So, you have to develop systems that protect your time and your energy, your routines, your responses, and your rituals. And you have to remember what you stand for with that. And when you're doing all this, you have to be open to the right yeses, and you don't close yourself off by being selective. Like I say, if family calls and they're like, oh, you want to have family dinner tonight? That's something I'll consider and I'll figure out how to do something like that, because family's important to me. That's one of my beliefs. But like if somebody called up and's like, hey, you want to have a beer? I haven't drank in years because I'm sober, for one. And it takes me off because I know how I'll feel tomorrow when I got to get up. I got to do the rinse and repeat thing again, to do work, to provide for my family. And so that's a hard no for me. So you come up with the core beliefs that you can say yeses to, and you weigh in all the possibilities. Because, like, if I got to a point where I went out with my family and had dinner, what's that going to do for me? It's going to make me happy to see my family that I love. It's going to get food in my belly. I had to set a hard deadline on how long I can actually be out because sometimes my family can talk for hours. And I have to make sure to get enough sleep. And then I think about all the positives that come out of that. Whereas if I went out with a person that wants to have a beer, well, number one, it's going to eat up a lot of time because you lose track of time when you're drinking and stuff. That's one reason I got sober out of many. And you lose money. You also wake up feeling like ass the next day. And so that's what it becomes. You got to learn what you want to say yes to and what you want to say no to. It's your choice. Now, how does this tie to create or consume today? Structure helps you create instead of getting eaten alive by noise. So if you carve out that time to work on that project or that business or something that moves the needle forward in a positive light in your life, if you make that time to create instead of consuming like this, you're going to reach your goals. You're going to go ahead and figure out who you are and what you want to do, and you're going to be better off for it, is what I'd tell you. Now, a lot of times I think personally that beliefs plus systems equals freedom. Because if you know who you are, you know what you want to be in this life. That'll change sometimes, to be honest. But like, you have to learn when to say yes and when to say no again. You will find your freedom. An example of this is for me, I'd never go back to a soul-sucking 9-to-5 job in my life. If my family was in hardship and I absolutely had to make money, Sure, I'd take a temporary job, but I'd figure out a way that I could go back to creating my projects again and to support my family with my own two hands. That's my kind of freedom at this point because I'm able to go ahead and run my show, to run my businesses, to go ahead and play guitar, to do things that I love. And the most important part about that is I can support my family with my own two hands. I don't have to rely on another company's rules or regulations, their limitation and what they want to give for a paycheck or things like that. There's so many people that get comfortable in that, and I was once in that myself. But now I have a whole different definition of what I think is freedom. Now, here's a couple things that come into as like a scar or a lesson from my own story. This is times when lack of boundaries or clarity kind of wrecked me. Like, for example, there's times when I was in New York, I used to go out drinking with my friends until 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. What do you think that does if you don't think ahead and you don't think, well, yeah, I got to go to work the next day, or I've got this big meeting, or I've got this thing to go to school for, I've got family that relies on me to cook dinner, like all that kind of stuff, It's self-destructive. And so that kind of thing, I realized didn't serve me anymore because I used to drink like a fish. And while it seemed fun in the time, and I've got pictures of my friends doing funny things and pictures of me doing funny things, and I could tell you lots of stories. Really, I think that the lesson was learned that it didn't push the needle forward. You had to find out, as they say, if the juice is worth the squeeze. So, as a reminder today, your beliefs aren't for sale. Your time is not for waste. You have to organize both, and then you'll be free. Now, if you're tired of being pushed around by anyone else's agenda, hit that subscribe button up top. Start building on what you believe. Hit like today if you ever said yes to something you knew deep down wasn't serving you. And turn on the notification bell on the channel if you want a weekly reminder to keep your life in order so you're free to create instead of being consumed. Thanks for joining me for today's episode. I'll see you on the next one.